Hi, Corinne. I am so excited to have you. I know that you're going to Northwest Yoga Conference soon, right?
Hi, Linda. Yes, I've been invited to be a presenter at the Northwest Yoga Conference, which takes place in Seattle at the end of January. It's 23rd to the 26th. So I've been told that it's the largest yoga conference in the Pacific Northwest. And
That is
I'm just
great.
excited. Yeah, so
And
going to be presenting hormone yoga therapy.
yes, that's what I was going to say. That's your specialty, hormone yoga therapy.
Yes.
So, can you tell me a little bit about what is hormone yoga therapy?
Well, hormone yoga therapy is a set sequence of 21 postures. And the postures are completely geared and meant to reactivate our glands, for women, our sex glands for us. So we work on the ovaries, the thyroid, and the pituitary. The postures are dynamic. There's very strong breath practice within the postures, and it's based in Kundalini. I mean, it's inspired by Kundalini for sure, and of course Hatha Yoga. And then we do three nidras.
Okay.
Three yoga nidras
So,
within 21 postures.
and how is that different from regular yoga? Because I know regular yoga is good for so many things, including hormone, but how
Yeah.
is it different? Like,
Well, regular yoga is meant to maintain health.
mhm.
So we practice regular yoga. We might have a set, postures that we do, or if depending if it's a yin class or restorative or a more vinyasa type flow class, whereas the hormone yoga therapy is based on women's physiology and it's therapeutic. So we are specifically focusing on these glands. And the by focusing on the glands, what we're doing is reactivating the hormones. So at any given time, we may be imbalanced, where there's more progesterone, more testosterone, too much estrogen, and it's all over the place. And so what the practice does is it brings equilibrium and balance to the hormones. And our body knows what to take from it. So it's not like you need to go for a hormone test to find out if you're high in something and low in something. The body it's very smart, and it takes the practice and it balances things out. So the women who have been coming to it have been women who have found that they have unexplained infertility and have been told that there's nothing going on that is medically that needs medical assistance. Women who have PMS, any type of hormonal imbalances, PCOD, endometriosis, and then, of course, once we move into that perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopausal stage, when our hormones are really up and down, then hormone yoga therapy with a regular practice, most of the symptoms are eliminated very quickly. Like I'm talking quickly, like within a week or two of practice.
Really? And is
Yeah,
it like regular asanas or
they are, but they're
sequencing?
not.
Really?
No,
Okay.
they're not. I mean, they're like the practice is meant for beginners, um, but the reason the combination of breath work with the asanas, most of the asanas were moving, so that's where it's got that Kundalini inspiration. So most of the asanas were moving with our breath. So that just takes a little bit of practice to um, sort of coordinate it together. And then we also do work with the bandhas. So we work with the throat chakra, the solar plexus, and the pelvic floor bandha. But
Nice.
but it's all combined. It's not separate from everything else.
Right.
It's a unit. So in order for the practice to be effective, and in order for us to get results, we need to do the whole sequence of 21 postures, which amazingly takes less than 30 minutes.
Nice. I'm
Yeah.
so excited for you to come. By the way, Corinne's coming to San Diego to Breath Body Connection to teach this course in February, right?
Yeah. February 15th, 16th.
Yes.
Right. So the woman who I didn't create this. This isn't mine. The woman who created it, it's been around since 1992, but it's only just recently been sort of getting across the pond to North America. So her name is Dina Rodriguez, Brazilian psychologist and yoga therapist. She's 92 years old. She is still doing teacher trainings and workshops, but she does them in Europe, mostly Eastern Europe, and in Brazil. And
Nice.
so I went to, in 2017, I went to Chile and took her teacher training for hormone yoga therapy. Yeah, and I haven't looked back. Like, it has absolutely changed my, it's I want to say it's changed my life, but my hormonal life.
What symptoms did you have? And you say everything happened so quickly. Can you tell me a little bit about what got you into it and how it helped you and how quickly and what
Yeah.
symptoms you had and what went away?
Well, I definitely was in perimenopause, and so perimenopause can last for 10 to 15 years, right? Like, it can start at the age of 40, and then you maybe don't menopause till you're 50, mid 50s. Even some women don't menopause till they're 58, 59. And so I was experiencing brain fog. So then I would drink more water. I was just trying to, like, cross off everything. But the one thing that was really debilitating for me was migraines, and I hadn't had migraines, so that was something very unusual and new for me. Went to my GP, and my GP gave me a prescription for migraines, and because I teach quite a few classes a week, and I am not anymore, but at the time I was dueling. I had quite a few clients assisting for birth. I had to take the pills. Like, I couldn't function without them. Uh, I mean, they were just, I went for brain scans. I went for an MRI. Nothing's wrong. And so that basically I acupuncture, everything. And so basically what it was it was for sure a hormonal shift.
Mm-hmm.
And I started Googling yoga, hormones, all that kind of stuff. And it brought me to Dina's website, her Dina Rodriguez website. And so I ordered her book, and I learned the sequence. I read about it. I learned the sequence, more or less. And even then I started feeling, okay, instead of getting a headache 3 times a week, I'm getting one once a week. And then I thought, I've got to go do her teacher training. So I basically, then I headed to Chile, November 2017, so 2 years ago. And then, so I learned, I had to know, you have to know the practice before you take the teacher training. So I felt like I had a pretty good foundation. And then of course, taking it with her was, solidified everything. And I can honestly say, and this is like no far-fetched, I have not had a migraine. I have had a couple tension headaches, and I know the difference because my migraines were right here, whereas my tension headaches are more, bad posture at the computer, or,
Mm-hmm.
just like a tension headache, which
Mm-hmm.
can be alleviated with an Advil and, lots of water and maybe, light massage. Whereas a migraine, it didn't respond to any of that. So now I not only do not get the migraines, but I sleep better than I've slept in my whole entire life. I've been a very light sleeper my whole life. And I knock out at 10 o'clock and I wake up at 7.
Really? Is this
Yeah,
the only practice you do now, or do you do your regular yoga practice as well?
this is my regular yoga practice. So I do it 5 times a week, four
Mm-hmm.
or 5 times a week. At the beginning, when a person is, once they've learned it and they have, memorized it, then we suggest they do it 5 times a week for results. Then once you start seeing results, then it's maintenance. So maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Um, I will throw in some, if I have more than a half an hour, if I've got an hour on my mat at home, I'll throw in some sun cells or moon salutations or something. But no, this is what's speaking to me, and my body feels better than it's felt in a long, long time. So
Nice.
I was a little bit skeptical, thinking that the same postures repetitively would create some sort of repetitive injury. But stuff like my stiff neck that I used to have, that's like all of it's gone. So my answer for everything is hormone yoga therapy.
Yeah. So can you tell us just a little bit more about the sequencing? Like, what is so special about the sequencing?
Well, the sequencing, besides there's a little bit of magic. So if I was to give you the template, so I have a template and I have a guide that every student will receive at
Mhm.
the workshop. And then we also have a Facebook closed group for people who've taken the workshop with me. And on there I have videos.
Mhm.
But if I was to give you the sequence um, piece of paper, the document, Linda, and you would look at it, you'd be like, oh yeah, I can do all of these. But you wouldn't exactly understand how to integrate the breath with each one. And
Mhm.
then there is an added element that we call the Tibetan energy circulation. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, and either had I before this. So it's an energy circulation where we implement Kachari mudra, which is tongue to the soft palate, and then we concentrate on the tip of our nose, and then there's more to it, and then you change your concentration to a gland. So it might be the right ovary, the left ovary, right thyroid, left thyroid, pituitary. And so that is what's so special about it. It is nothing like I've ever seen before, practiced
Mhm.
before. I've had a lot of yoga teachers take the workshop for for uh, symptoms that they would like to eliminate, but also out of curiosity. And they are just like, wow, I never, like, this is so new and different.
Good. And did you practice yoga before?
Oh, I've been practicing since I was a teenager.
Okay. Wow.
I found yoga when I was 15.
Okay. That's
Yeah, and
awesome.
so I've been teaching since 2006.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add before we
Um, yeah, I think it's really important that people understand that this is a therapeutic practice based on physiology, and I mean, we know that yoga is a science, but Dina is published in South America in science and medical journals. And
Mhm.
so it's very interesting because she was 65, and in Brazil, they get their hormones checked every year with their monthly pap smears. And her doctor said that he was just really, really shocked because her estrogen levels were so elevated. They were like that of a much younger woman. He asked her, what is she doing? And she just said, well, I do hatha yoga. And he said, oh, well, do you want to create a system for women that they can just like have a sequence and do it for 30 minutes every morning? And so she did. It took her about 3 years. So she created this. And then they had a group of women who volunteered for the study in both Germany and in Brazil. Hormones checked, do the practice, check the hormones, check the what's elevated, what's low, and they did this for about a year, and then she got published in some medical journals. So
they got
everything
saw
has
really
been
good results?
very, very good results, and I've had, so in 2019 I've done 12 workshops, and I've had about 205, 210 women.
Mhm.
And I really have not had anyone come to me to say, like, I don't like this. It's done nothing for me. I mean, it's been very, very positive for women. And
Mhm.
so, I mean, isn't that, that's what we want, is this positive. And I think the fact that it's a half an hour, I did my practice this morning in 25 minutes. I was in a rush and had to get out the door. And I just was like, no distractions, and I just did it really quickly.
It's so nice because it's so self-empowering too. It's not like you depend on a pill or some lotion. It's like if you allow your body to do what it needs to do, our bodies are amazing actually.
Well, we can heal ourselves. And I
Right.
mean, you've hit it on the nose because hormones are very trending right now or very popular. And I follow a lot of different sites on social, and I'm quite disheartened because there's a lot of um, upsell. Buy these herbs to make you better. You need this tea if you want to balance your estrogen. Um, this cream will do this for you.
Right, right.
And I mean, maybe, everything combined, but let's face it, I don't like, I have a hard time taking vitamin D in the wintertime. I would rather move my body than be pill popping. But the other thing is that we shouldn't suffer with bad, painful periods, and we shouldn't suffer as we move through the transitions into perimenopause and menopause, or and beyond, like 65. I've had women that are 65 to 75 years old take this course because they're still getting hot flashes.
But the way you're talking, it's good for younger
It
people, like
is.
younger teenagers. It's good for everybody,
It's
but
good
it
for
could be
everybody.
the, teenagers and menopause, right?
Yeah, I have had teenage girls come with their moms, and these girls are suffering with really, really painful periods.
Hmm.
And they go to the doctor, the gynecologist, and the remedy is to
Birth
put a
control.
band-aid on it and put them on a birth control pill. And like maybe mom is being like, yeah, you don't want to ever see your daughter in pain, so you're like, yeah, you go on the birth control, for a month or a year, and yes, that will alleviate a painful period or a heavy period, but they come off that pill and they may be worse. Like the symptoms may come back worse. Like it's not. And same with like hormone replacement therapy. I mean, I always tell my students at a workshop, I'm not a medical professional and I'm not saying anything um, bad or good about anything. I'm just giving you the facts. So
Right.
if you look on the breastcancer.org, whether it's the Canadian or American one website, there is a big warning about hormone replacement therapy and the risks.
Right.
And the risks are breast cancer, stroke, and heart attack, and that it's meant to be just short term. So of course I'm like, short term is short term 6 months. A short term, they refer to short term as 5 years. But a lot of these women that have been taking hormone yoga therapy with me, they've come off hormone replacement. They're 62 years old and they're going through menopause. And so that it's kind of like they didn't think about it for 10 years while they were on the
Right.
path. And
Right.
so, like, it's great that we have all of these tools, and this tool is a natural and holistic tool, and
Right.
it's brought to you by good old fashioned 5,000-year-old yoga.
Right.
But it's a specific sequence.
I am so excited to have you in
Oh,
San
the
Diego.
light is, I'm getting the sun right in my
Yeah.
face.
I'm so excited you're coming down. I want to learn it, and hopefully we'll have a big group so you can help more and more people.
I'm very excited too.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome. It's
And
a pleasure.
I will post more information about the details of the workshop, times, cost, and everything. But I want to thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Okay. Bye. Bye for now.
Bye bye.